Okay, Matt. So we got a fun pod ahead of us. We just finished a great discussion with our other podcast friends, Dienda the
It's
week.
our competition, man, in the
Competition.
market.
Hey, there's no competition here. This is a we want to see mutual success.
Our business partners, then.
Business. Maybe, yeah, that would be our new venture. But yeah, we got CJ and Aris on, talk a little bit of championship football, some Dallas stuff, um, our takes on some prop bets. So it was fun discussion there. So we'll get to that later. But first, no Cowboys, no Dolphins. First time of
What do we do?
this
What do we
NFL
do?
season. Yeah, I guess we just have to watch the rest of the games as objective fans. But why don't we just get right into it since our discussion was pretty long with them, but we'll go in order as usual. So start off with the Texans at the Ravens, Matt. um I think we both thought Baltimore was going to win this game, but man, did not expect that type of performance. I think from the Texans, uh probably saw the rookie side of CJ Stroud come out. I mean, understandably, you're in Baltimore as a rookie, going against, one of the best coaches in the league, Super Bowl winner, and John Harbaugh, who has a week to prepare, by the way. Um, 2 weeks of player rest, right? So definitely felt like that played to their advantage. But I don't know about you, Matt, but I was really just shocked at how like limited that Texas offense seemed to be. Couldn't establish the run, uh, not really any downfield shots there. And honestly, the offense only put up 3 points because their only touchdown was on a punt
The punt
return.
return.
So I don't know. Just seemed like Baltimore was they seem like the more experienced team. Lamar, I mean, what else is there to say about him? He's, I think, the MVP of the league. We said that a couple podcasts ago anyway. But 11 carries on the ground, 100 yards on
100.
11 carries, just ridiculous. Um, two touchdowns on the ground as well as two touchdowns in the air. It just looked, pretty easy, I would say, for Baltimore on both sides of the ball. And to me, you really saw that pass rush. Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know. I know Jadeveon Clowney, he's been a problem before, but something about him, in this game, like he looked like a game changer. With just that pass rush in general, Matt. Um, yeah, I mean, not really too much to say, but complete dominance from Baltimore.
I think it was interesting though. Like the pass rush was dominant, but they had no sacks. But you could feel CJ Stroud, like he was feeling the heat. I mean, he was moving around all day, throwing on the run. So it's like, sometimes a sack is a misleading stat to me
I think
because the
so.
Ravens defensive line was dominant. And I mean dominant.
I mean, let's go. Houston, 14 carries for 38 yards. Yeah, that'll do. CJ Stroud, you know, was a top five passer, I believe, in the league. He did lead the league in passing yards per game. He missed a couple games. So for him to only have 175 yards on 19 completions, right? Less than 10 yards of completion. And then on the flip side, Baltimore, I mean, 229 yards on the ground, 42 carries.
That's their
That's
that's their
a state.
identity.
Yep, that is a staple of Baltimore. And hey, if you can't stop the run, they're gonna run the ball all over you and they're not gonna budge, right? What did I say on the last podcast? It's identifying and executing your team's identity. And, don't need to tell John Harbaugh what their identity is, right? We got Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, who I like, and now Dalvin Cook, who's just, another wrinkle for teams to have to worry about. Um, but they got the power guy, they got the speed guy, and Lamar just. it really still baffles me, like watching him move in the pocket and run, because it really looks like he's not even trying. And he's just faster and quicker. And the thing I think Lamar has learned throughout his career is how to not get hit. Like there's an art to,
Hmm.
like to we talk about Tua falling, preventing injury that way. But Lamar is just so shifty. He's mastered how to like not get hit, or when he does get hit, it's like uh like not a full contact. Like he knows how to turn his body like just in the slightest way to, lessen the blow. And to me, that's been the most impressive thing, watching him run the ball now compared to even when he was in Louisville, winning the Heisman. So, I mean, not too much to say, honestly, in this one. Just all three phases. I think we saw the experience. I do think the Texans are going to be good. I think they have a lot to build on. I like their offense, especially if Tank Dell comes back. Maybe they draft a running back, to pair up with that young offense. And D'Amico Ryan, I mean, we didn't really have him on our radar for Coach of the Year, but I think he's definitely surprised a lot of people with the turnaround. I mean, you think about it, they had the second pick in the draft, so what, second worst record in the league, into winning
And
your
they traded for
division.
the third pick too.
Yep, and trading for the third pick, Will Anderson. He looks like a stud, right? So, um, just the turnaround. I mean, kudos to that Texans organization. They clearly made the right move, and really like D'Amico Ryan. It seems like a player's coach, but he's still getting into the nitty gritty of the film study, and on the defensive end, you can really see the passion that his players play with. So nothing for Houston to hang their heads on. They get a playoff win in your first season with a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Like that's just sky's the limit now for Houston. I think the AFC South is feeling a little bit differently than as we all predicted at the start of the year. So kudos to Houston, but unfortunately their season had to come to an end. Baltimore moving on to face the Chiefs, but got to get to the other game first. Probably one of the more exciting. Well, actually, all the games are pretty good outside of the Texans Ravens game. Um, but Packers Niners, man. I mean, the Packers, just heartbreak for them. To go into San Francisco and arguably outplay San Francisco, I would dare say.
Not arguably,
Um,
they did outplay him. Just didn't show up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, where it counted, unfortunately, for Packers fans, and for Dallas fans because they have a dislike towards the Niners. But
And the
yeah,
Packers. We don't like any
yeah,
team.
okay, well that's fair. But yeah, I mean, let's really get into this one, Matt, because maybe we'll start on Green Bay side because they unfortunately didn't come out with a win. But I mean, you look at kind of their stats. I They ran for 136 yards, pretty decent. Jordan Love, the numbers aren't super pretty, but 21 of 34, just under 200 yards, two touchdowns, two picks. We know that last one was tough. Um, his first one probably not a great, just not a good throw
They're
on that
behind
one.
him. Yeah.
I think good decision. Just tough throw there. The physical ones you live with, right? You always live with, oh, he just kind of overthrew him, or a little bit behind a guy leads to a pick. Those ones I think you can live with, but yeah, the just when it counted, couldn't quite make that one play to put the game away. I think Matt, the three plays I'm really going to highlight here. The fourth, going for it on fourth down, in deep in the Niners territory. I don't know. Maybe they even got the first down on the sneak. It was pretty hard to tell. I don't. What did you think? Did you think that he got it? I
It looked, I mean, it was so hard to tell because of the pile, but I don't
Yeah.
know. The way like his body was like laid out, I guess is that the right word? It looked like it was past the line of scrimmage. I thought that was a bad spot
Hmm.
for the ball. So I don't know about that one. But
What about the decision? I guess
that's what I
just
was
going
gonna
back to the
say.
decision.
In that situation, like they called a tush push, but it was kind of a fourth and inches, fourth and one, but it was like it looked like a far one, like a 1.5 to me. So it's like, are you really gonna push that. Like personally, I know you got to capitalize in the red zone, but
Analytics.
I'm a huge believer when you get points, you got to get points. You just got to get points when you just can't leave that on the table. And it was well within field goal range. Maybe it's because LaFleur just says he prays every time Carlson comes out to kick.
That's not a good sign
I don't
either.
know, but to me, take the points. And it's early in the game. It was early in the game, right? I think that was like second quarter.
Second quarter.
So, it's not like it's okay, you're third, fourth quarter, late third, fourth quarter, you're pressing, you're down, right? Take the points. Like your team is playing well. Don't give the Niners any real momentum. And I think the Niners came back that drive and they scored their first touchdown.
Yeah.
So kind of you could say 10-point swing in a way. So I don't know. I'm just a huge believer of taking points when you can get them.
Yeah. I mean, definitely agree with you there. And yeah, I mean, you really look that first half just seems so controlled by Green Bay. They go down, kick a field goal, go down again. Probably should have
That's
kicked a field
that's why
goal.
they lost the game, to
And
be honest.
yeah,
It's their
the
red zone. They're moving the ball, they just couldn't cash in. So
mhm.
that's a credit to the Niners
Credit to the
defense.
yep, exactly. Credit to the Niners defense. Um, but I mean, it really comes down to the second half where it's kind of interesting because Brock Purdy on the flip side, uh, I don't think he played the greatest game, especially in that first half, right? You could argue it wasn't his greatest performance, but I thought at the end of the game, uh, made enough plays when it counted. He made enough throws on that last kind of game winning drive, I guess you could say. So I don't know. The game manager stepped up, I guess, if you want to put it like that. But I thought this was a really big that was a big drive for him. I think for his career to, kind of get the narrative of that front runner mentality out of the way where yeah, when everything's going good, we I can make the throws, I can make the plays, but he faced some adversity. You're down, you need a touchdown, not just a field goal, right? You're down four, need a touchdown, gotta have it. And six that ran a almost flawless 6 minute offense, right? Picked up, let's see, three first downs on third down during that drive. He had it when he had to. And even I think more impressive though without Debo late in that game because
Good point.
he goes down during that game. It's kind of hard to adjust mid game. Um, but I think just too talented, quite honestly. That offense. So I'm still want to give Brock Purdy, his flowers because I think he deserved it for that last drive. But it it really did feel like Green Bay losing the game more than the Niners winning. Um, I mean, Carlson, that's I 41 yarder to put you up. The thing is to me, it's not even like a pressure field goal either. Like it's not to tie the game. It's not to, not like the game is tied and you can go like you guys are up by, you're up four. Now you're just adding. So it's like I maybe that's just how he's been all year. I don't know, but that's a brutal miss in that moment. And I Jordan Love at the end still had a chance. And I think he'll learn from this, but that to me felt like what I've seen Tua do a lot, where he feels like he has to force it or he has to, force the ball down the field when you still don't have to in that moment, right? So I thought Jordan looked, he's impressed me. I think Packers have their guy for the next 5 years. I think he's going to get a contract extension. Definitely looks like he deserves it. But yeah, just in that moment, throwing across your body into double coverage. The thing is, it was first down. you're outside the pocket, just throw it away, live for the second down. Um, I mean, it's a little hard, in that moment. He's obviously trying to make a play, but I think that's one he'll definitely learn from Matt, and be better for moving forward. Because I really thought, man, I think hey, Green Bay, they're still in this, right? You got a minute left. You only need three. Yeah, Carlson just missed a field goal, but I mean, at that point, right, you just got to
You're
get him
taking
into
your
field.
chances. Yeah.
Exactly, you're taking your chance. You got to get into field goal range. But yeah, Matt, well, I don't know. What did you think of, I guess, the two QBs and their performances?
I think Jordan Love, for really the most part of this game, he played well. I mean, the QBR 44.6, that to me is a little deceiving. The one interception at the end was obviously the worst throw of the game. And then even the first interception he had, a deflected pass. Like you said, I thought it was a good read, just a bad pass. And when your tight end deflects it, tip drill, it's like, okay, yeah, you already know that's going to be picked off when it's just hanging in the air. But he made the plays when he had to make the plays, I thought. So, for his first rodeo, I would say, I think you can live with that for a totality of the season. I mean, the last week of the regular season, basically a playoff game for them, a win and get in. Obviously, they beat the Cowboys, right, on the road, the number 2 seed. So that's a, statement win right there. And you could argue he, outside of the interceptions, maybe outplayed Brock Purdy. I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but maybe you can make the case. But for Brock Purdy's sake, I'm a very critical guy, especially of the Niners. Not a fan of them at all. But I have to admit that last drive was very impressive. Very impressive. And one of the things that I knocked Brock Purdy on for being who he is, because still believe I still believe it's the team. Like, there's a lot of it with the team. They're just so stacked. He's on a rookie contract. He is a 7th-round pick, so he's basically being paid nothing in NFL money, right? So you can spread it around, use that money elsewhere. Um, but I'm always a guy. I'm a Brady guy, and you know, a little different like you with Peyton Manning. I think the difference between those two guys was Manning. I think he had the numbers. Manning had the numbers, but Brady, like, he just had that it factor. Like, he could have a horrible game, but if he's within striking distance or you need a game winning drive from him, no matter how bad he was, he's gonna get it done. And that's what I saw from Brock Purdy, because he wasn't very good. Brock Purdy was not very good for the first 3.5 quarters of the game to me. But when the money was on the line, you need a touchdown. He was there for the moment. And I think that's what makes great quarterbacks. So Brock Purdy earned my respect on that part, because that was all on his shoulders. There was no like, oh, you can run the ball, McCaffrey ground and pound, right? Time is ticking. And this is basically your last drive of the season if you don't convert. So he made the throws when it had to. He got them in range for that McCaffrey touchdown run. So very, very impressive. Shows a lot of grit from him. But you can't just have one, as we all say. We need to see that more and more. Maybe not this year, going forward, but I think that's a great start for him to kind of build off of that, game manager narrative. So very impressive by Brock Purdy for me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you there. So uh let's get to the game of the week, Matt. Um Chiefs Bills, the one game I think we disagreed on. So you went perfect, I think, on the weekend. Technically, you went 4-0. This is the one I whiffed on, and I mean, honestly, I could argue similar to what we just said about the Packers. The Bills had it right there. They were up at the half. Um, Felt like they played pretty well up until that point, but just couldn't make quite enough plays once again when it mattered. And Kansas City comes out on top. We can talk about the first half, Matt, but I mean, the first half never really matters, right? We talk about that a lot. Kansas City was right in it at halftime, getting the ball back. I thought, oh well, here we go. I just kind of felt that feeling of Mahomes is going to do special Mahomes things, and sure enough, what does he do? First drive of that second half, come out, boom, 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 touchdown. And they're up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Buffalo's going to choke again, right? They're good. Same
You
thing
thought
which
they were going to
happened
lose after that first
right
drive?
after that first drive. Honestly, I'm like, they just went like it was like Swiss cheese, like just I don't know. But I actually finally had hope because unlike the previous years, where I thought they would kind of collapse, um, they come back long touchdown drive of their own. I mean, it was a 8-minute drive, to bounce back, keep Mahomes off the field. And, it felt like reminiscent of that iconic playoff game that happened several years ago, when it's like haymaker after haymaker, and who ends up with the ball last is going to win the game. So I mean, it really felt like that. Because right after that, I mean, Mahomes does his thing again, comes right back, scores a touchdown. I'm like, okay, well, Josh, now it's your turn, and now we start getting into the nitty gritties of the end of this game. So after the touchdown, obviously you want to have a big play or a big answer. They go 3-and-out. Sean McDermott here makes, I think, an interesting call to go for it uh, on a fake punt with Damar Hamlin, of all people. It would have been a great story. Hey, you get that first down, you are praised like, no other coach, right? Oh my goodness, the guts on him to go for it, run a fake on your own 30 with Damar Hamlin too, like gets his praise for, you know, not really playing the whole year. It's like, oh, he finally has a big marquee, and he gets stopped. Chiefs were not fooled at all. Gets stopped, and I'm just thinking, well, there's the game. Honestly,
Yeah.
because now what Kansas City's about to just go, um, you know, punch this thing in. Now you're down 10, and it's over. I'm sorry, but the game's gonna be over now. That's just how I felt. But you know, lo and behold, McCole Hardman said no, not just yet. Um, I mean, he fumbles out of the end zone. I don't. I
First
can't.
off, it was a great play by Poyer. He
It
punched
was
it
a
out.
great play.
Great
It was
play
a great play.
defensively.
Um, and I just thought it was such a weird feeling because I felt like, okay, the Bills don't deserve to win after that pig punt. Honestly, that's how I felt. And here's the football gods going, no, this is your moment finally. Here you go. We won't even let them score. Like, it's one thing you hold them to 3 there, right? And you're still with it. No, you know what? He's gonna fumble out of the end zone. You guys get the ball back. Oh my good, like it's gonna happen. It's finally gonna happen. And then you go 3-and-out again. Is it like, it's like they're trying to give you all these chances. Um, just couldn't capitalize. But Matt, I mean, that last drive, kind of culminating on the season for Buffalo, I thought, um, because they didn't start out too good, but to me, the pass to Diggs, on the first play of that possession, I mean, one of the most
Holy
beautiful
cow, that
throws
was
I've
a
ever seen.
he
I
launched
mean,
that thing.
Josh Allen, I've said this before. I think physically more talented than Patrick Mahomes. I think physically one of the most talented, gifted, like God given ability athletes of the NFL ever. I mean, running, passing, whatever you want to say. Absolute beautiful ball to not Tyreek, to Stephon Diggs. I said Tyreek because I've seen the drops before, but Stephon Diggs, he's been the guy the past several years, and something was just not right with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen towards the second half of this year. And I think that finally came back to bite him. I mean, Stephon Diggs had 8 targets, only 3 receptions for 21 yards. Uh, yeah, you need, what do we always say, Matt? You need your stars to
Just
produce in the
show up.
biggest moments. And to me, I thought it happened so fast. It's like, oh, maybe, they got a hand in there or something. But then when they showed the replay, it's like he literally, had it go right through his hat. And I was just thinking, maybe that's it for Stephon Diggs. I mean, I love Stephon Diggs. He gave us some insanely memorable moments, but after a while, right? Like maybe you're just not the guy anymore. I hate to say it because he's so talented and he's been there for so long, but that's like your chance to finally make the big play. Flip the game on its head at that point, right? Um, and now you can have a much easier time controlling clock, you know, getting down the field and scoring a touchdown. But they missed that one. I thought, oh man, I don't know if that they're gonna be able to do it. They pick up a fourth down on that drive. They're kind of dinking and diming down the field. And it comes down to the right leg of Tyler Bass to tie the game with a minute and a half left. Um, and yeah, I mean, just pushes it right.
Wide right. As Jim Nance with, did you hear his savage call of the game? What he said, like, oh, it's wide right. That's like something like the Bills' worst, least favorite words or something. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's that's brutal.
It's just unbelievable how that game ended. Tyler Bass not a bad kicker. They extended him.
He's a good kicker.
He's a
I would say
good
he's a
kicker.
above average kicker in the league.
Yeah, definitely. Although, albeit, even if they tie the game, you're giving Patrick Mahomes a minute and a half left. Maybe he still goes down and wins it anyway,. You never know. So just like I feel bad for Josh Allen, like genuinely, I do. Um, people can say he didn't make the enough plays when it counted, for it to come down to that. Okay, I agree. I think there's always the losing quarterback always could have done more. You don't want to make any excuses for quarterbacks, right? But like I thought there were plays to be made that weren't his fault. He was carrying them with his legs, puts them in position to tie the game. Uh, like to me, it's just something he can't escape from Patrick Mahomes. I don't know, I don't know if um when he's going to be able to because we can talk about this in the offseason, but the Bills and the Dolphins have some messy cap situations. Going to be see some different teams out of both those teams, but just I've genuinely felt bad for Josh Allen after this one, because I felt like he played a pretty good game. I guess you just got to tip your hat to Patrick Mahomes. Something about him, man. Maybe he's just really the new Brady. I mean, 6 straight AFC Championship games is kind of
Insane.
ridiculous. That's like almost like Braun, right? Going to was it seven
That's a
straight
good point.
finals.
Yeah.
So I
Like
don't
more
know.
than that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still don't can't believe Kansas City made it this far, to be honest. I
The
thought this was
Bills.
Buffalo's chance, to you finally get them at home.
Yeah.
Just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Well, that's why I picked the Chiefs because I knew my analysis was I know what I'm gonna get from Mahomes. It's Josh Allen. Like, am I gonna get good Josh Allen, bad Josh Allen? I mean, in his defense, he didn't have that, that bad turnover, right? That just kills your game. But, he just didn't have that one extra play. Some of it is not all his fault, I think. But, that Diggs throw, the deep ball that he dropped, that was a beauty. But the one that I think that really sticks out for me is on the last drive. I think it was a second down play. Um, Kind of reminds me of like that shootout game a couple years ago in Arrowhead when he hits Gabe Davis kind of in this middle of the seam, like a seam route down the middle, right? Drills it. But it was kind of the same route, except it was Khalil Shakir running it. And he kind of got like hit as he threw it. So I don't know if he didn't get enough on it, but one, Shakir is open. So if he hits that for a touchdown, I think the Buffalo Bills hang on to win that game. But there's also the thing where they show the clip. It's like, okay, you don't have to go for the home run there. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs coming on a drag route. He's, wide open. Like that's an easy first down. I think you get that. Like you really got the Chiefs on their heels, and I would say you score. So that's the one. It's like, ooh, did he make the right decision? I think he made the right decision. Honestly, he was open, so I have no problem with him throwing it. But like
I,
that's the kind of things. It's
you
like,
just need to play a perfect game when you play the
yeah,
Chiefs. I think that's really what it's gonna come down to.
yeah.
And like I said, he played well, but still, gotta be perfect. Make every right decision, hit every right pass when you can. Sometimes that's what it takes to beat an all time great. But yeah, so you're right, Matt. Sorry, I got excited. I skipped over the other game, but I mean, let's get into the last game. Um, well, it was technically the third game, but the Bucks at the Lions, Matt. Pretty good game, for the most part. I thought, uh, back and forth. I first of all, let me start by saying, Baker Mayfield. I thought Baker had a hell of a year this year. To come in, replace Tom Brady. Uh,
You
not
don't
no
want to
one
be that guy.
expects. Yeah, no one expected anything, especially myself included. I didn't expect anything out of Baker this year, to be quite honest. Um, I thought the NFC South was going to be messy anyway, but I didn't see the Bucks ending up winning it. But to their credit, they started off slow, but they got kind of hot at the end. Um, Up and downs the whole year. But, after we saw last week, right? Diced up Philly, um, albeit, you know, pretty open receivers and poor tackling. But nonetheless, made the right decisions, got the ball out. And, this game I thought a little bit more of the same. I thought he played a pretty good game overall. Uh, the first pick off of Mike Evans' hands, kind of tough to put on Baker there. But yeah, I just want to give Baker, his props because came up, one drive short. Um, but overall, I thought he had a good game and a pretty good season. So unfortunately, they had to play Detroit at home, who I think is just a different beast at home. So, the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson had a good game. I I still don't get all those unblocked pass rushers coming for Baker in this one. Not sure what happened there, but uh yeah, that Lions offense, Matt, I think once they kind of got going, you can see how dynamic that offense really can be. It was kind of a back and forth, weird first half, pretty low scoring, but kicked up in the second half. And I don't know, to me, when Detroit gets rolling like that, um the run game and then the play action off of that, like Jared Goff is actually so good off play action.
Mhm.
And yeah, when they get to go under center and just do that to you, like good luck, trying to stop Amon Ra and Sam Laporta in the past game. So I thought, you know, I mean, it was a good game. I thought Detroit, should have put this one away earlier in the fourth quarter. And I kind of feel like some of the Detroit fans, after they had to punt, started to feel a little bit of those demons start to creep in, right? Um, you know, Baker still had a 2 minute warrant, a whole 2 minutes to go down the field. And you just need 8 to tie the game, one possession. But it was finally in the cards for Detroit. Happy for the city of Detroit, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, just that whole team. I think they deserve it and get the chance to play the Niners next week. But yeah, Matt, I think we saw the strengths of Detroit finally come out on offense. I don't know, anything stand out to you about this one?
I think Jameer Gibbs. I think a lot of people have been saying, wow, the Lions really reached for him at 12. Right? Are you really going to take a running back that high if it's not Bijan? Well, I think he kind of showed why they took him, pretty high because he was pretty darn impressive. Nine carries, didn't even have double digit carries, and he had what 74 yards and a touchdown. So the efficiency is there, and I'm a really big fan of the Monty Gibbs combo. I think that's such a sweet like dynamic to have. Like Montgomery, not the sexiest, stat line, but he's just gonna grind you out like tough yards, and then Gibbs is the home run hitter, right? I think the age is like their age balance is just so perfect, I think. So I think that's a huge dynamic. And then we'll talk about that with CJ and Aris when they come on for the championship preview. But I just think that duo is such a factor. And then the fact that they got Sam Laporta back, I don't even know how he's playing at this point because he had a pretty bad injury the last game of the regular season. So the fact that he's out there and making plays, it changes their offense. So I think when they spread that ball around, they're tough to stop. But on Tampa Bay's side, I thought they left, you know, some opportunities on the table. And, you know, I don't know about you. Like there's been a lot of things going around Tampa Bay when they scored that fourth quarter touchdown, right? They went for two. I think, yeah, why not? Right? You're kind of down. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't know if you noticed, like at the end of the game when they were supposedly kneeling it out, like Goff takes a knee with like 30 seconds left, and the
Oh
Bucks
no,
have a timeout,
no, no.
right?
So they said it was bugged actually. Like the scoreboard was not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they were out of timeouts.
So I was like, okay, because on the TV, I was like, wait, what is that? Why did he not call a timeout? Okay, but that makes sense. So NBC, can you guys please step up your broadcast because that's very deceiving for a playoff game. That's all I gotta say. But what do you think about the 2 point conversion? I think you think Todd Bowles made the right call.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's um the new let's see, what is that? Um
I was watching Mina Kimes. She had a clip. That's why.
so that she all Nina all that's like her thing. Like she always says two score you're down so sorry, 14. You're down 14. That first touchdown, the analytics say to always go for it, I believe. So I don't know. I thought that I like it. I wasn't a big, believer in it first, but if you really think about it, you're trying to win the game and you're not trying to
Hmm.
go for the tie.
Right.
Um that it kind of, makes more sense to me after I heard that one. But yeah, I definitely thought that I think that's the right call. I think you go with that. I like that decision, but yeah, I don't know, Matt, because I swear they didn't have a timeout, but now I have to go I want to do some digging. Um, let's see. I swear that they didn't
Maybe
have a
we saw different
timeout.
things.
Yeah. Um,
Because even on social media, I saw it too. But I don't know, sometimes social media is misleading.
yeah. Well, okay. If they didn't have a timeout, that's ridiculous because you always have to, or I mean, sorry, if they did have a timeout, that's ridiculous because you got to make them play the game out no matter what. But I don't know. I thought I saw something that said, um, They kicked.
Okay,
They
let's
didn't
check
have
it
one.
because I remember they had the incomplete pass. So Detroit had the ball. They had the incomplete pass on third down before the 2 minute warning, right? So they punted and then they had one timeout on that last drive. And I don't think they called a timeout.
Okay, well, in that
I
case,
don't think they called a timeout.
that's inexcusable. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking at the play by play. Timeout, second timeout by Tampa Bay taken 2:54 of the game on second down. And then second and 7, Montgomery gets tackled. And then they run it down to 2:10, third and 11. Goff throws the incompletion. So the clock stops. So they punt the ball. So you have 2 minutes left for Baker, one timeout. And then they had two plays on offense, and they didn't call a timeout.
oh, well, in that case, that's ridiculous. You got to give your team a chance to win. Well, I see. That's my bad. I thought they didn't have a timeout, and that was like a display issue. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, you got to play to win.
I mean, I thought because I was tripping. I was like, wait, they still have a timeout. And Goff takes the knee with like 30 seconds. Like, first off, what are you doing, Jared Goff? Like, wind the clock down. But he takes it with 30 seconds left. And I was like, does anybody like not notice this? Or am I like just tripping right now? So, like, honestly, like you could get fired for that. Like, basically quitting. Like, 30 seconds left. We've seen Patrick Mahomes score in 13 seconds before. So there's crazy things that happen in the NFL. And what if there's a Hail Mary or, you get a pass interference? There's things that happen, but you're never going to know unless you give yourself a chance. So if that's the case, I think Todd Bowles definitely fumbled the bag on that one. I don't know if he would get fired. I mean, they did win the division 4 years already in a row. So but that's a terrible coaching mistake to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, but it's what's done is done. Guess we can't.
That's true.
Just
It's not
gotta.
my team, so
Not my team.
not
Hey,
gonna stress about that.
yeah. Okay, Matt. So should we get into our discussion with Dienda then? In that case, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll take the chance here. Get into our discussion. It was a fun one. Um, but just a warning. There is swearing, so if you're offended by that, sorry. We're just gonna. It was a free discussion.
Viewer
Just wanted to.
discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, this is the moment that everyone's been waiting for. I mean, I don't know how long I've been talking about it, and we've been talking about it for a while, but we finally have the Fan and Fanatic and Dienda collab. It's been on the table for, I would say, about a year, but we're finally pulling it off today. So, CJ, I don't know if you've been on the show once, but welcome back. But Aris, welcome to your Fan and the Fanatic debut, man. It's good to have you guys.
This very exciting moment for me.
It sounds so exciting right there.
Big fan of the show. You guys might read my comments on Instagram, but
yeah, I mean, I saw some comments that were flaming Greg's Super Bowl picks, for being kind of basic. But I like that.
It's in place still.
It was chalky, but hey, it's probably gonna hit. It's probably gonna hit.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, I was trying to take a big reach, believing in my team, but for the past 29 years, I've been wrong, I guess. So anyway, we'll
never bet on the boys. Yeah.
Yep, I never do. But you know what? Since we got the Dienda team on this week, I want to get a little backstory about how you guys came to form your guys' podcast and your account. So, like, what's the meaning of Dienda? Like, I think everybody wants to know.
Well, let me first talk about the first time I ever heard Dienda. It was a Coca Head game. I think we were buying pizza. and I don't know, I don't know who was there, but CJ was talking something about where's the pizza coming from or something. And CJ said, or I don't know if he was talking to me, he was like, the end of the street. And it was a joke, but I guess we just rolled with it from there, you know?
Yeah,
I don't really,
yeah, it was definitely at Cool Head, and I think it was we were talking to somebody, and then just like Aris said, I just said Dienda, and then I guess Aris didn't hear that word before, and
yeah, I
I
never
got
heard
it
of the
from
end of, yeah.
yeah, and I didn't make it up. It was from my college boys at George Fox, the baseball team,
Uh,
but yeah, it was it was a word that never got old, but
yeah.
for this whole podcast thing, actually, I don't know if Aris remembers. We were actually talking, and when we took a trip to Seattle, we were talking. We went to a bar, and Aris was just talking to me about like how cool it'd be to start a podcast or just talk about bets and stuff. I was like, "Fuck!" I mean, yeah, I'm down. You just gotta let me know like what's gonna happen. What's the scoop on
Hmm.
this shit? And then we come back from the trip, and then he was serious about it. And then I think we first started with Instagram first. We just had like a page, and then we started doing the podcast shit,
Yeah, yeah.
on Spotify.
We
But
did
that's just,
we did one or two podcasts, and then we fucking quit from there because CJ was doing all the editing, and I felt like I
yeah,
wasn't doing shit, so I felt bad. And then we kind of just gave up on the podcast. But
That's
we
a
did
low
like a
key
little bit
grind,
of
honestly.
it is, dude. I was like, damn. So we just did like a little bit of clips on Instagram, and now we just do straight up screenshots. So
yeah,
Hey, however the information comes out, but okay,
yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
wanted to know. At least
yeah. That's all
the
CJ.
backstory. It was CJ. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
the
George
George Fox
Fox
yeah.
thing,
boys.
huh?
George Fox. I
Yeah.
thought it was like Brandon or Dylan, but you said it was the baseball team.
Well, they were for like a year or something.
Yeah, they played for like a year, but yeah, the whole boys, everyone's like Dienda. I was like, what the fuck is that? And then there's a whole group chat, and then like Dienda's dick. I was like, oh fuck, that's a good
Yeah.
one. And then I just brought it down to Hawaii, I guess, and fuck everybody.
I never
It
heard of
was
it. This
fucking
shit was
funny.
hilarious, and it just
Oh,
fits in every sentence too. It's like
Yeah.
the end of this day, the end of the week, and yeah, the end of the
All right,
week
we got
bets.
that's the goated origin story right there.
Yeah.
that is a good story. All right, that's a good one. But you know what? We'll get to you guys' expertise because it's perfect timing because it's the NFL Conference Championship week coming up. So we got the AFC and NFC going out. So Chiefs and Ravens for the AFC Championship. What are you guys' early thoughts on this game? Like, what's going to be the keys for both teams to come out on top? Why don't you start, Aris?
Damn. Well, for the fan in me, I don't want any of them to win. I'm not a fan of Mahomes, and the Ravens are too stacked top to bottom. So it's impossible to contain Lamar. So the only way Chiefs can win, in my opinion, is if they score a lot, because their defense is still a top five defense in the league. But the Ravens also have a top five defense. So you just got to be able to keep up with Lamar, I think, at the end of the day. But I think Ravens gonna blow them out.
Blow them out. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a bold pick
yeah.
for
The Chiefs
the Chiefs.
they're not the same, man. They're not the same.
I don't know,
Yeah.
CJ. You got anything different? Blowout is a
Mm,
big statement. That's why.
I think it's a two score game.
mm. Yeah, I think looking at I guess the way the Chiefs played against the Bills. The Bills ran over like I think they ran what 100 more than 150 yards with Dalvin Cook and another running back,
And
and I think
Josh
Josh Allen
Allen.
he carried the ball
Yeah.
for a lot of yards too. So I think the Chiefs' run game is very vulnerable, and what the Ravens do have, like I said, they're stacked top to bottom, and they can definitely run the ball. Lamar and his RPOs, or just with Josh Edwards up the middle. It's just I think it's gonna be too much for them, and but Mahomes, right? You just can't. I think with that team, he's just a lot of experience, right? Coaching wise, yeah, Kelsey, Mahomes, the defense is good. So, with that being said, I think the line is gonna go up. I believe the line's gonna go up maybe to 4.5. I believe, or maybe just 4. But I think a trap bet, the pub is gonna ride KC so much because of the fact that the Bills, they beat the fucking Bills at home, but I think all the sharps are gonna be on the Ravens because they know that they're the better team.
These are two trap games for public and professional bettors. Everybody's gonna be riding the Chiefs, Taylor Swift, of course. Everybody's gonna be riding the Lions. It's, in my opinion, the Lions is a perfect underdog story. You know, it's literally the Cubs of fucking football. So.
Okay, so Chiefs, Ravens. You think the over under right now? CJ mentioned the spread 3.5. So CJ says probably gonna jump. I could see that.
I think it actually went down. Yeah.
Did it go down?
Did it?
I checked this morning.
It went down
that's
to
why.
3. Was it? I think it went down to 3.
Oh, maybe it went down to 3. I don't know. You might be right. But when I checked this morning, it was 3.5. And they had over under at 44.5. I don't know. To me, that's pretty low.
That's pretty low. Yeah, that's pretty low. Yeah.
But these are two top 5 defenses in the league, so you never know. But the NFL loves offense, so it could be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
All right. I think I already know who my co-host is picking because of his Super Bowl pick.
Well, I think I think the Ravens are going to win at home, and to me, it's going to be more what CJ said. Like, I think both teams are going to try to control the ball. I just don't know who's going to cover. Like, that's the thing. I've been kind of like back and forth. I actually do think the Ravens cover at home though, because I mean, the Chiefs won. You know, Mahomes finally won on the road, but I mean, there were plays for the Bills, you know, right there, like to be made to win the game. Just off the top of my head, Diggs, like his drop on the 60-yard pass, which
that was tough.
You like really. I mean, it's a tough catch, but you really never see that out of Diggs. But I mean, even the field goal at the end. I mean, not a crazy long field goal.
44 yards.
44 yards. And, more than not, Tyler Bass is one of the better kickers in the league, I would say. So, I don't know. Just like, I don't know if it's the Bills curse or whatever, or the Taylor Swift aura that's like pushed the ball to their, I don't know. But to me, like, I don't think Kansas City really deserved to win that one. I thought, Sean McDermott, you're running a fake punt at your own 30 with Damar Hamlin. Like,
that's crazy.
What are we doing?
Crazy.
To do it at that side of the field too.
That's crazy.
And they got the Bills got bailed out themselves by Kansas City really should have put them away, but Hardman fumbles out of the end zone. So I don't know. I just thought not really on brand for the Chiefs. I mean, I don't want to say they got lucky because, they still played a good game, but some pretty questionable decisions, I thought, and just costly errors. And I honestly just don't think Harbaugh, is going to roll the dice like that or make a decision like that. And if we're talking about kickers, I mean, Justin Tucker, right? One of the best to do it
Brandon Aubrey
of all time. So, yeah, I'm actually, now that I think about it, I do like the Ravens. If it's 3, I especially like the Ravens to cover. So, give me the Ravens.
Terrible number,
I would take the Ravens. And probably if it is it 7 against the Niners, that's probably, I think that is the trap bet though, because like you were saying,
definitely
like, everyone's thinking
it actually went down to 6.5.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what it's at now.
Because
that's trap central.
I still don't think the Lions on the road is a very good team. We just have that's been the story all year, right? And I don't know what's going to change, in the championship game. But the other thing I was thinking of too is Shanahan, he's gone against Jared Goff, a lot of his career. So he kind of knows the exact play style that they're going to come out and play. They're going to try to run the ball and then play action off of that. So to me, I like Travarius Ward. I think he's going to, stick with Amon-Ra. That's going to be a good battle. I'm sure Amon-Ra will win a couple, battles there. But the key to me is it's Fred Warner. If he's going to be in coverage on Laporta, I think that's a good matchup for them. So Actually, I would take San Francisco at home. I think it's not going to be that close in that one either. I think 2-score game, like 10 plus, honestly. So that's what I got.
Oh, so CJ, are you riding with the Niners or the Lions in this one?
And I gotta go with Greg's take. I mean, Lions on the road, night and day. Jared Goff in a dome, night and day. So weather, everything. Lions are riding high. It's gonna come down some point. And I think just what everybody's saying. The public is looking at the Niners. Oh, they should have lost to the Packers, whatnot. But the Lions' defense is absolutely terrible. So I think Brock Purdy, even with Deebo Samuel out, I think now they have a week to prepare without him. I think they just got hit with a different bullet because Samuel got hurt. Whatever, they couldn't really put that in their scheme. But I think now since he might not play, I'm sure Shanahan's gonna be able to prepare for this game without Samuel. And they did it before. He was hurt earlier in the season. They did it before. And I think the Niners, they come out in fashion. I think 31-21 by 10. Yeah, it'll be high scoring. I think the Lions will find success, but by 10.
Yeah. Well, wow, you guys are all going San Fran. So I think San Fran's gonna win, but I feel like Detroit is gonna cover. And the only reason why I say it is I think they're playing well at the right time. And in the playoffs,
They're hot.
I think the hot team, it always carries. And you can go back to the Packers, right, against our boys. They were coming in hot. And a defense, the Packers defense, like Jesus. 2 weeks ago, they made Bryce Young look like Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, they played Dallas, the number one team offensively, and they shut them down for the first half, really. So, I take that into consideration, but I like the hot team playing, with the way that San Fran played. I don't know. Oh, that's a little questionable. I know Deebo is nicked up. I think that's a huge factor, really. If he's out, maybe the Lions can squeak one out. But I still see them covering. I think their ground game is the key. I know San Fran has a great front, but they got a two-headed monster. And Aaron Jones already, was gashing them. So imagine what a quicker back.
Yeah, that's how San Fran. That's why it was so close. The run game, they couldn't stop Aaron Jones.
Like I feel like teams are gonna do what the Lions do in terms of how to build a backfield. You have a guy like Montgomery grinds it out. He might not get big plays, but he's gonna get the tough yards, 4 or 5 yards a pop, and then Jahmyr Gibbs comes in and he hits the home run. One or two
crazy
big plays.
The Cowboys had that last year.
Well,
I mean, they did.
They did.
Something like that.
They had a healthy Tony Pollard and a older Zeke. Little different.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that. I don't like Goff as a quarterback, but I love the Lions offense and the team in general. As a fan, I want them to win. For the storyline.
Me too.
But if I was to bet on this game, I'd probably put it on San Fran.
All right. Well, why don't we go in the theme of Dienda on this episode? Give us your guys' best bets for each game. One best bet for each game. Let's start with the AFC.
Ravens, Chiefs, best bet. For just going straight up, let's take Ravens and we lead the points with -3.5, -3, whatever. But if we're being real here, and if I don't know if I'm feeling some type of way on a Sunday, I'm gonna do it. I might tease the same game. So a teaser parlay, right? You add +6.
That's a veteran move right here.
Squeezing my ass on over-unders. I hate over-unders, but anyway, if I were to do it, I'd tease Baltimore up to probably 2.5. I think 2.5, and then I would tease the under down to the over. I'll tease it to 44,
38,
38 over 38. Yeah, we'll probably do that. I think that looks good. That looks nice. I'll go with that one. Yeah.
All right. What about the NFC? You guys got one for the NFC?
Aris can do
Well,
Yeah,
I'll do
Aris,
this.
this is your time to shine.
So we got the San Fran at home, given what 6.5, 7 points. I think if it's 6.5, I'm 100% unitting San Fran minus 6.5. But 7, I might have to put it on Lions. So it all depends on the number for me, The veteran I am, 7. 7. I'm
Have a
hinting
point.
towards the
the
Detroit, the Lions.
retired gambler coming out.
And then 6.5, I'd probably launch that on San Fran. But lock of the century, San Fran minus 6.5.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yeah. The two favorites coming out. But
Yeah.
all right. That's a good championship preview. So let's shift to at least 3 of our favorite teams, the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Greg had some questions that he wanted to ask you guys because he's
Like,
sick
Greg,
and
who are
tired
you a fan of? Who's your team?
Well, I'm
Miami.
a newly converted Dolphins fan, I guess.
Oh, dude, that's tough.
I'm honestly, I'm
You have
starting
a
to
terrible
regret it.
quarterback.
I'm starting to regret it because, well, like, I mean, I never really had like a team. That's why it's like weird because I was like a Peyton Manning fan, right, growing up. So I was like all Colts all the time, and then he like left, and it's like do I cheer for the Colts or am I, like I only liked them because Peyton was on the team, you know what I mean? So I became like a player like fan, I guess, and then like the Broncos, and then he retired. I was stuck. I was like, all right, I don't really have a team. But around that time, like Marcus came into the league, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just cheer for the Hawaii boys, So
Tennessee.
yeah, and then since Marcus not playing, it's like I guess I'll cheer for Tua, I guess.
Oh God.
But it's like kind of so I found out my dad is a Miami fan, so I guess I was like, all right, I guess I'll just stick to
But now you're stuck.
the bloodline. Now I feel like I'm stuck, but it's terrible
You gotta ride
because
it out, or I
mean,
think there's a year. If you're a fan for less than a year, I think you still have time to switch teams.
that's the
But
thing, but
can't be a top team though. It can't be a top team.
yeah. So I mean, I'll figure out. Maybe I'll just have to go through the struggle because it was tough, like actually cheering for a team really hard, and then they just imploded. Like,
Dude,
I'm starting to see the similarities. It felt like the AFC Cowboys. You know what I mean?
No, not
like just like the promise, but and then they just imploded at the end. But I don't know. So I guess right now I'm claiming the Dolphins, but I know you guys are three diehard Cowboys fans. I don't know if you guys are as diehard as Matt, but because that guy's nuts.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore.
So but I mean Matt got to vent out his frustration last week. So I wanted to give just you guys a chance. So I mean, Aris, we can start with you, but just overall on the season, with how it looked, so promising regular season. And honestly, like I was one of those like, the past several years, Cowboys, it's like, yeah, they're always kind of good, but you could feel like they weren't going to be there at the end. But this year, like genuinely this year, I would say as long as I've been following football, like even when like Romo was the quarterback and stuff like that, like this year to me felt like the year it's like, now Dallas actually has a team that can take it all. And then, they just implode at home against the Packers. So I just want to get your guys' take on, I guess, the season overall.
Dang. Overall, this is such an up and down season. Like, it was so frustrating, but at times, we felt like we were a top team, but then we lose to the Cardinals, or we get fucking wrecked by the Bills. And that's just how it's been as a Cowboys fan for fucking however long. So it just felt like it's the same shit, different year, personally. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. All right. What about you, CJ? Same thing?
Honestly, yeah. I think everybody, media, public, bettors, they're all looking at Dak and oh shit, is he the real deal this year? He put up big numbers, MVP talk. That's what I think that the Cowboys season it revolves around one man always, Dak Prescott, the quarterback. It's all the time. We have the weapons on offense, we got a good defense. But it all comes down to Dak Prescott. So what I think about with the season, it's just a false hope, and this one, I guess, it's no other. It's not like a. It's not like fuck, what's that word? It's the same shit basically. Yeah, every
Yeah.
year same shit, right? We got some, like I said, good games, right, at home, undefeated at home. But then at the
Right
same
where
time,
we
get
want
licked
them.
by
We got them right
Bills.
where we want them, bro. Home field. We're
Unstoppable at
playing the
home.
fucking 7th seed. Boom.
But
Crazy.
but yeah, the Packers. I mean, they just gave it to us, and it's just a heartbreaking season. A lot of Dallas fans on Instagram, right, livid at the coaching staff. But I mean, it's the same stuff. Yeah, same stuff.
Yeah, and I guess your coaching staff is going to be returning.
Mm.
So yeah, Matt was super pissed that McCarthy is coming back. I've heard a couple different takes, like you can't put it on him or whatever. It's more on Dak. It's not on McCarthy. So I don't know what. I guess your guys' take on the McCarthy thing. Are you guys McCarthy fans, or you wish you went shopping for? And I mean, there's some names out there this offseason
Yeah,
too. That's
some
the other thing,
dogs.
right? Vrabel, Harbaugh is out there. I mean, Belichick was kind of floating out there as well, but just surprised, I guess, that this early, Jerry committed to McCarthy, maybe.
Yeah. At first I was like, "Fuck McCarthy. He doesn't know what he's doing." But the 3 years he was here, we had 12-win team. Can't help that. We were the number one offense 2 out of 3 years. Yeah. At times, yeah. This season, I noticed some of the time management shit that went on. But his offensive play calling has been pretty good. The thing with this past game was the defensive adjustments that Dan Quinn. That's what really killed me. We ran that same weak ass fucking zone from fucking 40 yards out. Come on, man. Come on, man. Get DQ out of here, dude. Fuck him. Like McCarthy, McCarthy, he was all right. He's gonna take the blame. He's the head coach, of course, but he did all he could. It's on Jerry.
Okay.
That's a good point. I mean, McCarthy is always going to be the scapegoat, and Dan Quinn
Yeah.
has always been like you can't bash him.
Yeah.
Like, it's Dan Quinn. Like, no matter whether he does good or bad, like you just can't mention his name in any negative comments. But I think this year, I think we're starting to see he's kind of faltering a little bit.
It's just, what was he doing that whole game? I just don't understand. Was fucking he had head coach interviews for fucking Seahawks or something? Like zero adjustment, man. Like that game, people will put it on Dak, but our defense is supposed to be able to keep us in there long enough for our quarterback to turn it back around. But from the get go, we were down. I knew we were gonna lose. The first drive. Green Bay's first drive.
What about you, CJ? So are you a McCarthy fan or not really?
To be honest, yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of good names out there, but I guess kind of what Aris was saying. It's sorry, my bad. What Aris was saying, I think looking at the past 3 years he's been here, successful seasons, but I can also see the same. There's a different way to see it. You go to the playoffs every time. You lose to the Niners twice. You lose to Green Bay. There's the same results we're looking at here. Ultimately, right, it comes down to coaching. I think everybody in the league is badass. They're in the league for a reason. They're good, but it's coaching where that takes it to a different level. So if we're gonna keep McCarthy and we're gonna keep having a nice regular season champs, we take the division twice out of the three. I mean, yeah, hooray! But if we come to the playoffs and we lose, it's for nothing, right? So I can see how Matt is all flustered and whatnot. And I do agree, with McCarthy. Just I don't know, maybe he had a soft spot for the fucking cheese heads. That's why he took it a little light against Green Bay. But right, I mean, we all thought he was gonna get fired after the game, but I guess Jerry had bigger plans. He looked at the big picture, and I guess he likes McCarthy. So as a fan, we're gonna have to ride with that. And I think, me, Matt, and Aris, we all agree with, the big quarterback, our Dak Prescott, right? Is he the one that's gonna take us to the Super Bowl? Hell no. He's not gonna. It's not gonna
Okay, that was perfect because I was gonna transition. What are we doing about Dak? All right. So Dak, CJ, you're saying Dak is not the guy.
Hell no. There is no shot. He's good in regular season, whatever, if he's good at home, but in the key games, key situations, it's like he chokes. It's kind of like Romo a little bit, I just think they have a little choke factor. They don't have that he's not him, everybody say, is he him? But I think, it all comes down to him. And look at all the other teams, right? Look at Brock Purdy, for example. I bet you Dak is more talented than him, but Purdy, he makes the simple plays, and granted, he has a good ass offense, right? McCaffrey, Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle, but he just makes the play. He just makes the simple plays, he doesn't do anything dumb. He just makes the plays. And with Dak, I think, ever since that injury with his ankle, in college, he was a runner, he was a runner in college.
When he first came into the league, he was a runner.
He was a runner.
He was badass.
Right now, he's just a pocket passer, and he's so slow out the pocket, ridiculously slow. So I think, in this league, you need to be able to use your legs, for a quarterback. And if you can't use your legs, and if you're not good like a Brady, yeah, you're gone. So be it. I don't think it's not happening. That's my take on that.
Aris, are you on board with that?
I got faith in Dak, but he's right. Like, dude, he hasn't been producing in these key games that we got to be winning, or we got to be in there. But yeah, I agree. Like, you can't win a Super Bowl without either being like a Tom Brady elite quarterback, but you got to be a dual threat, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar in this league now, unless you have a good offensive scheme like Shanahan, So, I got faith in Dak, but I think it's on the coaching.
Okay.
That's a very interesting.
I know Matt is out on both those guys, so
wow.
Well,
you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be pissed when we extend them for fucking 4 more years. Then.
Well, here's my thinking. Like, okay, I said I don't want McCarthy, and I wanted like a young offensive OC, Ben Johnson, Bobby Slovic kind of guy. Or if we went defensively, I said I wouldn't mind Vrabel. Vrabel would be a good fit
culture, dude.
We need physical. We need to be a physical team, and we don't have that.
Let me say one thing. Maybe let's not start a fucking safety at linebacker. How about that? Marquise Bell is a fucking safety, not a linebacker. Jesus Christ.
I mean, honestly, they had no linebackers.
He was good.
But that comes to Jerry. Like, bro, you lose Van Der Esch, like, go get someone. Like, you can't just have Damone Clark as your... Or move Micah Parsons to linebacker. He played off ball at Penn State. I don't think he's for it. He started there too, his rookie year too. So it's like, that goes back to your point about no adjustments, right? They're going to play the same defense regardless of the
when formation. Are we going to be able to stop or run?
Exactly. But like with McCarthy, like he's here, okay, but he's on a 1-year deal. So I feel like it's kind of like a prove it year at this point.
Yeah,
like, he's not getting an extension, so they have to go far for him to get re-signed. So I'm saying, in my head, they should do that for Dak, because Dak has 1 year left. Yeah, the cap hit is pretty significant, but you can lower your cap if you sign CD to an extension. I mean, you're gonna keep him. I would. Micah Parsons, you sign him now, right? So the cap isn't as bad, or you don't have to pay him as much. So you're gonna keep those two guys, but you make Dak play on a 1-year deal basically, and say, if you want to be the guy, here's your chance, and you got your coach.
What is your criteria though? Like, is it one playoff win? Is it taking them to the Super Bowl? Is it
He has to
winning
take
the
us-
Super Bowl? What is
No, he just has to take us to a place we haven't been in 29 years. That's the conference championship at least. We haven't even. I'm not even going to go
Right.
Super Bowl. Just take us to a place we haven't seen as Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
And him and McCarthy both on 1-year deals. If they stink it up, see ya. You know, and then you
Is that
start.
what do you think is gonna happen?
What I think is going to happen is Dak's going to get an extension in about like a month.
Yeah,
Honestly,
so
I think
too.
that's going to happen.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
Bro,
But-
Jerry Jones loves Dak and his leadership. He is his
He's
community.
a great
You know,
guy.
it's all about money
He's
too,
a great
right?
guy.
Yeah,
gotta
but
think about the
Jerry,
community.
like, he's
It's
a
just-
great businessman. Like, just be the
Exactly.
owner, dude. Go hire a GM, hire Will McClay. Like, internally, you know what he's gonna do. Like, let him run the show. Like, he's the guy that's scouting the Micah Parsons, the Trayvon Diggs. He's got the Ron Bland guys. Like, let him do it. I don't want Jerry being the GM because he was gonna draft Johnny Manziel over Zach Martin. I'll never forgive him for that if he did that. So I don't want any of that. So I think Jerry is really the core of the problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hey, if McCarthy's coming back for 1 year, do the same thing for Dak Prescott. Make them both earn
I
it.
don't even know if do we have enough cap space? Because I know if we don't extend him, we're like down 60 mil. I don't even know what our cap is.
I mean, we're definitely under, but I think if you extend CD, that's gonna relieve a good amount. And then it depends like who you re-sign. Like, I think Tony Pollard should be let go at this point.
Yes, I'm fucking 100%, dude.
Like maybe we get
Dude,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, yeah, exactly. Let's hope we get a fucking fast motherfucker, and
And then
Derrick
we
Henry.
draft like Blake Corum or
Get
Trey
Deuce,
Benson. And
get Deuce Vaughn out of this fucking team. First of all, fucker got
It was-
drafted for his dad. Come on.
hey, it was a good story. He's a great kid, but I don't know if you can have him as a starting
No,
running
yeah.
back at this point.
I don't know. We need to get rid of Stephon Gilmore. His
Oh,
old
he's a free
ass.
agent. He's a free agent.
He's
I think
old.
Tyron Smith is actually a free agent too. I hope
See,
we get rid of him.
I would take him if he comes back on a cheap deal because he's really good if he plays.
or
It's just
give him
if
on
he
like
stays
an
on the field.
incentive, like an
Yeah.
incentive deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly,
fucker only plays like 6 games. Like, come on, buddy.
exactly. But he actually did
That
pretty
guy-
good this
yeah.
year, like health wise
Yeah,
and performance.
I think our pass rush and our O line's not too bad.
Yeah, well, we just need a draft or
We just need
go
a
sign a freaking
a
middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone to fucking clog up
Patrick
these run
Queen,
lanes,
like I
dude.
don't know, it's somebody like
Yeah.
that.
Because Van Der Esch, I don't know if he's gonna be back. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think his career's
Spine
over.
injury,
like
yeah, I think so
physically, he's
too.
just done.
That was a tough blow. That was like an under
That
radar
was.
tough blow for the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, that honestly was. I think we really saw the impact that he
Mhm.
made, even though he didn't play that often. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dak, man, if McCarthy's on a 1-year deal, I say you just keep him on a 1-year.
Yeah, I'd be interested. But then what are you gonna do after that? Though?
Well,
Are you
if
gonna
he
draft
does-
one? We're gonna draft a
You're
quarterback.
just gonna go tank then?
Yeah,
Like,
then
yeah,
obviously,
well,
obviously, it didn't work. Like,
So what are
it's
your
not
plans
working.
if we flop next year? What are we doing the year after that? What is our QB? Trey Lance?
Cooper
Hey,
Rush?
maybe.
Dude, that dude
To be
doesn't even get
honest,
any
I
preseason
think
snaps.
I feel like they're gonna release Cooper Rush because they
I mean,
have
they got
Trey
it. They
Lance
just traded for Trey
for
Lance.
Cap.
Give him a
Yeah,
shot,
the Cap.
man.
I feel like it's the end of the Cooper Rush era, which makes me sad because he's my goat in my heart. But
Just sound
Yeah,
like Andy
yeah.
Dalton or something.
they gotta. Oh hell no! I don't want Andy Dalton.
Give me a
Like,
fucking gunslinger behind there, dude.
no. If they stink it up next year, I'd say
Sell the
Just-
team.
yeah, basically. You get new coach and a new quarterback.
Dang, that's gonna
Shador.
suck.
Shador. We get Dion and Shador.
I've actually seen something like that. Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Jerry Jones is
Terrible.
good.
Oh
Crazy.
my god, that would be
That'd be
insane.
terrible. That's gonna be 2.0.
That would be the dream, right? Like if we stink it up and that happens, okay, I'll sacrifice next year.
And I can't imagine Dallas being super shitty.
Yeah.
Like imagine it being like a Carolina level. That'd be depressing, dude.
Well, if they do that, then a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. But I mean, they're still. I feel like if they stay healthy, they'll make the playoffs.
They'll be like
at
a Tampa.
least.
They'll be a Tampa.
At least.
Or
Depends on
Saints.
it depends on Philly too, but I think they're still good
I
enough
think
to
Philly's
make the
gonna have
playoffs.
a shit couple of years
I mean, I hope
this
so.
year. Yeah.
I hope so too.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a tough year for you guys. So glad you guys got to vent a little bit that stuff out. All right. Well, I guess we want to end on a little bit of just some prop bets. See if what's worth taking or your guys' recommendations, I guess. So I'll run through some of the popular ones I got in here. I'm just gonna take the best odds across the sports books. So this is crazy. McCaffrey anytime touchdown. His best odds that I'm seeing is minus
Minus
300.
150.
I'm seeing minus
300,
like
Jesus
300
Yeah.
for anytime touchdown. That
Bro, I've
is
seen it up to 400, bro. I think
that's insane.
last
Is-
game, they went up to like around like 400 or 450, 500. That's just ridiculous.
Are you
Yeah,
guys
that's
big
crazy.
on the anytime touchdown props or no? Too
I
risky.
hate props. I hate props in the NFL. It's too like hit or miss.
Yeah, that's
The only
super
props
volatile.
I'd bet is NBA.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Even like what I'm seeing, his 2+ touchdowns, you're only getting plus 190. So like that to me is like insanity. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
know he's
crazy.
good and I know they try to like, have him score, but that's just too big of a risk for me. Yeah, I'm with you there. Mahomes, let's see, what am I seeing? His over under. So we have him at over under 243 and a half passing yards. I don't know. That's a tough one because I think he's probably gonna have to use his legs a little bit more. I think that Ravens pass rush is pretty good. I think they led the league in sacks. So
He had some good DBs too.
yeah. So I don't know. Like Josh Allen kind of was running all over. Probably gonna have to see the same from him. But 243 on the road in Baltimore.
Does it seem high to you?
That seems
low to me.
It seems low,
Low?
but it like the type of game I think they're gonna have to play is like
You think they're
grind it out, like Pacheco, take the check downs. I don't think Harbaugh's gonna want to give up anything like vertical down the field. So like you blitz Patrick Mahomes, like the Miami game, for example, right? Every time they blitzed him, he killed him, like absolutely killed him. None of the corners could stay with the route combos that Kansas City was throwing out there. So that's the thing. Like, I think if you try to blitz him, you get aggressive like that. That's when he kind of struggles. Like, you got to force him to take like the 5-yard check down, the out route, and stuff like that. So that's why I'm leaning the under. That's just me. I know it seems low, 243, but I think that's almost a trap one too, because it's like, oh, Mahomes
so low.
243, no way. But I don't know. I think it's going to be like 220, something like that.
240 is pretty low, but it all depends on the game script you think is going to happen. I kind of lean towards like the grinded out running on both teams. I think Harbaugh's and Andy Reid's smart enough to grind this game out. They don't want to be in a fucking shootout.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Next one. Let's see, you want to do a Lamar one? Let's go. I want to see his rushing yard total. Okay, so I'm seeing over under around, let's call it 61 and a half. That seems high. 61 and a half?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know about that one. I might
under. Give me the under.
I think I'd take the under. I don't think Steve Spagnuolo's gonna let him just run like that, right?
You got to think Kansas City has a good pass rush too, Chris Jones. So probably be scrambling a lot.
61.
Yeah.
And he does run a lot of RPOs too. So
I don't know.
That's the
probably
end
go
zone.
over.
If he's in the end zone, I think if Lamar is 15 yards within the end zone, they'll probably do an option, or even a fucking design QB draw. But like you said, it all depends on the game, itself, right? If they're in that red zone offense, Lamar could just torch, or if they're in, if they're close to the goal line, just gonna run it. So that's why I stay away from props because anything can happen. But yeah, 60 is a bit. It's a bit it's a low, high. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Matt, we want to get an Odell one in there. He's Matt, you put him 65, bro. His over under is like 20. It's like 22. 22 and a half.
Bro,
For
he just goes for the
Odell.
pregame freaking hype. That's
Dances,
it.
yeah.
Bro,
Like,
The Ray Lewis.
No faith in
fucking
Odell?
slide.
it's all it's Zay Flowers'
it's
show,
Zay
man.
Flowers.
Yeah, that guy.
Towards
is,
the end of the season, it was kind of Odell was kind of getting his
At the beginning, he
touches.
wasn't doing anything, but
Yeah.
when Mark
Towards
Andrews
like the
went down,
middle end, he kind of got a lot of touches, but yeah, no shot. He probably gets under 2 receptions guaranteed, 2 and under guaranteed.
I like the Chiefs corners. That's why actually I think they're pretty good. So I don't know.
So that would probably lean into a Lamar over rushing yards. Receivers probably be covered.
Okay, let's see what else we have. Yeah, I don't see any lines for the over under the picks, but let's just say our own since Matt wants to have Brock Purdy anytime interception. Are you taking that?
I don't even think he has an interception in his career in the playoffs. Does he?
He played a clean game last week, and he only played 2 last year because he was out in the. So
I don't think he
I
has
think
a
that's pretty
pick.
safe. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that's pretty safe.
I'd probably lean no.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna tell him like don't don't
don't lose the
Fuck
game.
it up.
lose the game.
fuck
Like
it up.
don't
Just
make
give it
any
to
stupid
McCaffrey.
plays. Yeah, take the checkdowns.
If Ayuk's not open, give it to McCaffrey.
Yeah, I would agree there. And then we have Amon Ra. Let's see, 7.5. Seems pretty standard across the board. 7.5 receptions. Ooh, that's a perfect
It's
line
pretty
actually
high.
for him.
Feels pretty high.
I don't know.
Give me
Is
the over.
over?
Over.
He's got to be the guy. Like if they're gonna pass, Jared Goff gonna have to throw. Like he can't
I
just
mean,
run.
Jameer, and Laporta.
I think Travis Ward is going to be stuck on him all day, though. That's the thing. Like 7.
I don't. Nah,
Oh, I think
Travaris
he gets
Ward
8.
is
You think
soft.
he gets 8 then?
Travaris Ward is soft. Soft. Fred
I feel like
Warner,
Sanford
Fred Warner, and
matches up so
Laporta.
well.
That's a tough matchup for the linebackers and Laporta. But Amon Ra on that secondary.
Mm.
All right, so you think he gets 8?
I would take the over. I would take the over. To me,
Okay. I would take the under, but I think it's going to be like 7 or 8. It's going to be one of those two because that's the thing that pissed me off the most. It's like, how does
But props.
they're like the props and just like the over unders, like the algorithm Vegas uses is so ridiculous
Crazy.
to me. Like it's
Crazy.
so spot on. I just don't understand how they do it every single time. And then I guess our last one Matt wants to end on, not anything you can bet on, I hope, but the Taylor Swift appearances. So are we getting over under 7.5 Taylor Swift cutaways during the game? 7.5.
I think Jason's taking all the shine, dude.
Oh, that's true. He is taking a little bit. So
He got a lot of it last week or this past week. Yeah.
but Jason
I'd
would be
probably
sitting
go-
with Taylor too, right?
Yeah, true. It's a good combo.
Are we Matt? Are we
Probably go
talking?
over.
We talking before the game?
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, it has to be once the
During the
game
game.
starts, right? From game
Yeah.
start to game end. 7.5. Well, that's tough because
Ooh.
that's like 2 a quarter. That doesn't seem like a lot. I feel like they show her
Nah, definitely under for sure.
you think it's
For sure.
under?
Depends how much
Yeah.
action Travis Kelce gets.
Yeah,
I feel
see
like
how-
Yeah.
Oh, that's
every
true.
reception,
What is
Travis
his
Kelce will have-
receptions prop? His receptions.
Okay, that's a good
they're
one.
gonna show her.
So
Yeah,
his
match it with
reception,
that.
he's at 5.5.
Maybe.
So they're definitely under. Definitely under 7.5. Oh, if he gets a touchdown.
If he gets a
Yeah,
touchdown, that's
it's a
like
touchdown.
2
That's-
already.
That's
Yeah.
2. That's 1 on the catch and then 1 after the catch.
Yeah,
That's a good
flash
line.
the heart.
that's a
flash the
perfect
heart.
line.
Last week or this past weekend, it was Haley Steinfeld versus Taylor Swift.
Oh
Crazy.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Was she there? Steinfeld?
No, I don't know. I
Well,
know. I just know she's dating.
She's dating Josh Allen. So
Yeah, but was she there?
oh, I
I don't
doubt
know.
it.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
I
It's too
doubt it.
cold. They're not
But
as public
Cool.
as Swift.
I think the NFL knows though. You know, here's my theory. They know they only have what two more games max, so they gotta max max it out. Especially if Kelsey, I heard
Is
rumors he
turning
might
up.
retire.
Oh,
So
shit.
after the
Mhm.
year, so
He's
if
coming back.
you
He
think
said he's coming
back?
back.
Oh, okay.
He said he's
never
coming
mind.
back.
Well, still, hey, they might not even be dating next year. So if I'm the NFL,
Dang, I
you
hope
gotta
not.
milk out the you gotta
hope
milk
not.
out the.
No, I hope they are. No, I hope they.
Oh.
I hope they stay together. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a power couple, dude.
That is a power couple though. Truly brought a whole different
Mhm.
demographic into the NFL,
Crazy.
which is kind of
TikTok
insane.
literally skyrocketed fucking Kelsey sales.
Yeah, him and their podcast. So yeah, they're definitely a power couple there. But okay, I think we're gonna see a lot. I think we're gonna see a lot of Taylor Swift
hope so.
in the weekend. So all right, Matt, what did you want to get to anything else, Matt?
no, I think that's good on our time too. I mean, we got to wrap up our show too, and I know these boys got to go to bed for work. I want to keep them stuck with us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks guys for joining. This was fun.
Yeah. Expect to be back for another
Thank you,
one.
boys, for having us. It's a
I mean,
pleasure.
that Dak contract. I'll be back.
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah, we'll have a Cowboys discussion after that happens. So
Next time
yeah,
we'll be on
definitely
here.
bring
Me and
you guys
Aris will be on here when the Cowboys win 25 Super Bowl 25.
Yep.
2025 Super Bowl champs will be on here again.
Trey Lance
Save
MVP.
it. Save that. So
back. All right. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was
All
fun.
right.
thanks,
All
boys.
right.
Thanks,
Sounds
boys.
good. Thanks guys. Okay, so that was a fun recording there, Matt. Let's
Jeez.
getting lit.
Yes.
Yeah, also gotta say viewer discretion. Should have said it earlier, but yeah, the gambling part. I want to say we're in Hawaii, so that was all just for fun. Had to throw that out there, but let's wrap it. Getting a little bit late here. Let's get to some UH basketball, Matt. 2 games. How did it go? How are we feeling? Season doesn't sound as confident as the previous ones, but why don't you give us our breakdown here?
Yeah, well, let's just say, yeah, definitely not the best season we've had, and probably one of the worst that we've had in a while to this point. UH went on the road this past week at Long Beach, at San Diego, kind of as expected. They dropped both of them, so they just keep free falling in the standings. But that first game against Long Beach was a really disappointment because the defense was atrocious. I mean, I think Long Beach shot 75% in the first half. Do you know how insane that is? 75%. You're not good. I don't care how good your offense is. You're not going to win a game if you guard like that and you allow your opposing team to shoot 75% in a half. That is ridiculously bad, all-time bad. I have no defense for that. But offensively, it was really that first half that just put them in a hole, and then you're just playing catch up. I mean, the deficit was so big to me, the momentum, but the offense was bad too. And I mean, I have a stat: 22 out of their 31 shots were from 3, and they were 6 of 22 from 3. What the hell are you guys doing, jacking up threes, and you guys aren't making them? I always say, okay, 3 balls not falling. What's the easiest way to get easy buckets and catch up when you're down? Is to get to the free throw line, which means you need to be aggressive and score in the paint. But you're not going to do that if you keep shooting threes, and more so, you're missing it. So you're going scoreless on your end, and then you're allowing your opposing team to make 3 out of the 4 shots they take. So yeah, you're probably gonna lose that game if you start that bad. Just a terrible, terrible performance all around. And then you go to San Diego, you know, credit to Gannat. I don't know if you saw the starting lineup change, but Javon McClanahan comes off the bench for Juan Munoz. And Juan Munoz actually has a pretty good game. He had 21 points, efficient from the field, 7 of 12, 5 of 8 from 3, made his free throws. That's kind of what we thought it was going to be last season prior to Munoz getting hurt. But that's probably the only thing that Gannat did good, honestly. Just trying to change it up at that point. And, I hate to rip on Javon because, it's really nothing against him. I just want UH to be better. But I truly think that Jovan is not a guy that's like you're going to run your offense through. Like, it's not him. That's just not who he is. And when he was really good with UH, I thought it was 2 years ago when he was kind of that 6th man of the year kind of guy, like comes off the bench, plays high value, high leverage minutes, but he's not like the focal point. And I thought he played better in that role in this game. He still played 33 minutes. I think he led the team in minutes played. So it's not like he's losing playing time. But I just think that's a better fit for him. But then, late in the game, Mr. I need to be the hero, like totally, I don't know, we were watching at Sakai's house too, totally bricks a layup like when you're down 4, like rushes the shot, bricks it, doesn't even hit the rim, and then the game's over. Like 30 seconds left in the game, you're down 4. Like you don't need to score in 2 seconds, right? You got some time to get a quality shot. I mean, you got to move quick, but definitely do not need to force anything at that time. And then the defense late game was bad. Justin McCoy was really struggling defending the paint. He was getting beat off the dribble inside. So it's just frustrating. And Noel Coleman, the guy who I've been saying has to be the guy. It's frustrating because he's kind of come to a trend now, really, for the past 3 seasons. He starts off fast and hot in the non-conference, and then he just hits like this cold spell when conference play starts. And that's the opposite. Like you want the rust to come out first, if anything, and then you hit your stride in conference play. So yeah, I mean, he has been a pretty big disappointment. I don't know what the Gannat's rotations are right now. I mean, they're just literally playing everybody, trying out new things. But, college basketball is a little different. It's not like the NBA where it's like, oh, it's an 82 game season. You gotta, kind of tinker your lineups, to really the first quarter, maybe you can say halfway point, to the All-Star break is really when you're trying to hit your stride. But it's not like, oh, this game is a must win in the NBA. College basketball is a little different, especially for a mid-major team, because if you're trying to get to where you want to get to, which is obviously you win your conference and you get to play in the NCAA tournament, you have to hit your stride starting conference play. And what that means is you have to know your rotation and what your system is, like who's going to be the guy that's taking the late game shots, like who's going to be the guy that goes to the free throw line and ices the game, right? Who's going to be the guys in the game, when they're trying to foul, all these things that needs to be figured out by the start of conference play. You cannot be doing this 7-8 games into your conference play. That's a total disaster. Like I thought Gannat, the rotation was pretty tight the first, 7-8 games of the season. But now we're just seeing so many random rotations. It's just like, what the heck is going on? Like you guys had one starting lineup through non-conference, but now it's like, okay, Javon loses his spot. It's like, oh, Ryan Rapp's now starting over Matthew Cotton. It's like Akira Jacobs is playing more. Like, okay, yeah, he's playing great, but why didn't you give him more minutes earlier instead of giving him garbage time minutes if that's the case, right? Like it's just a bad coaching system right now, and Ganot 9 years already. I mean, you got to produce. Like, I don't know how you can justify coming back with this kind of performance. And you know what's even worse is the Big West tournament. They changed the formatting this year, so top 8 make the what you call it, the tournament, and they have like a first round. Top 4 seeds have a bye first round, and then the top 2 have a second round bye as well. So they play in the semifinals, I think. UH is 9th. So they're not even going to make the tournament. Do you know how depressing that is? Like, you're 9th. You're not even going to go to Vegas for a tournament. Like, you would just have your senior night game and then, oops, season's over. Like, that is just not, that is all time bad to me from where this program was a few years ago, making the tournament, right? Winning a tough upset game against a good Cal team to where you are now. Like, it just seems like we're regressing every year under Ganot. And this is like rock bottom. So unless things change fast, I would expect some drastic changes in the basketball or the men's basketball program. Maybe they should just have, I don't know, maybe have Laura Beeman coach both teams, because at least they're winning in conference. They kind of seem to figure that thing out at least. So I don't know, or maybe have Ganot coach the women's and Beeman can coach the men's. Like, I don't know, just something, like, because at least they're winning. The Wahine are winning, so it's just frustrating, really, really frustrating. I mean, they got a 2-game homestand this week. They play Riverside, or not Riverside, Santa Barbara, preseason favorites. I don't think they're going to win that game. And then there's the Saturday game, which is against the winless Cal Poly Mustangs in conference. So let's just say if you lose that, I think you're going to lose the entire fan base for the season. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, let's hope we don't get to that
UH
point.
basketball is a disaster right now.
Oh, no. I hate to hear that. Okay, well, yeah, let's wrap on that. One quick hitter for the MLB. Kind of big news. Josh Hader over to the Astros, so they restock again. The big free agent closer. I mean, great move for them. Great pickup for them.
That's a legit nasty bullpen because they still have Presley.
So I think Presley, you move him to the setup guy now. Have Hader close out the game. I mean, or you can flip them too if you really want it. Once you get into that lefty
Honestly,
righty
I
situation,
think that's what they should do. Like, they're both quality closers, and you can match up. Like, one guy's a lefty, one guy's a righty. What if, one inning there's a lot of lefties? So it's like, God, that's
take your pick.
that's a luxury to have. And they got Brian Abreu. He's probably going to be the 7th guy. He could easily be a closer on majority of the major league teams. So
yeah, Houston's gonna be a problem.
Gotta beat Houston in the first 6 innings, I guess.
Once again, gonna be a problem, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much the only news. The hot stove is kind of cooled off now. Matt, why don't you tell us our foolish fool of the week?
Foolish fool of the week. I had an initial foolish fool, and then I changed it after the football games this week. So it was going to be Jerry Jones, but luckily for him, I thought there was another guy who deserved it more, and that is Sean McDermott. You kind of touched on it earlier in our recap, but specifically the decision to call a fake punt on your own 30-yard line, and there's, let's say, 12 and a half minutes left in the game and you're down 3. What? Like, why then? And you're calling it to Damar Hamlin. Like, are you trying to like win the game? Are you trying to have like a make-a-wish moment? Like, what is the reasoning behind that? Punt the ball, make Kansas City go the length of the field to score a touchdown. And even if they don't, you can still hold them to a field goal and have a 1-possession game. And then it's like, Josh Allen, go be the guy. But you can't just not give him a chance and have you guys down 2 scores, which you guys should have been, honestly. So, yeah, Sean McDermott, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got lucky, but then you kind of got what you deserved for that decision in the end result. Just a terrible. And it's not like you were close, too. Like, he gained what, like a yard? Like, come on, be better
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, state of the 808, Matt. Not a ton of news, but I will say, we got some Max Holloway news. He will be fighting Justin Gaethje.
Oh boy, that's
Let's
a
say
scary matchup.
I'm a little nervous for Max. I still am highly confident in his abilities, but when we did see him move up to 55, it was a little bit rough, matching the power that Dustin had. But, Max, he's one of the all-time greats for a reason. Justin Gaethje, he's just so dangerous to me. But I think it's going to be a banger. Hopefully, I mean, he's pretty much known for having the iron chin. And Justin Gaethje can put it on you like no one else can. But we'll have to see. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm just get so nervous though.
That's a bad matchup for him.
I don't like it. But hey, he knows what he's doing, and I think this time around they have a little bit more preparation. To kind of give him a full camp of uh training at that weight or closer to that weight with sparring partners and stuff. So we'll have to see how it goes, but yeah, I'm a little bit nervous for that one when it comes around in April, I believe. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that. But let's wrap it here, Matt. So sports fact of the day. What do you got for us?
I think you'll like this one. This is a good one for you. But okay, we're recording on January 22nd. We'll go back to 2006, and a guy by the name of Kobe Bryant, he scored 81 points in a 122-104 Lakers victory over the Toronto Raptors. That mark is second most in NBA history for a total points scored game behind Wilt's, obviously his master 100-point game, which is ridiculous. But I also just find it interesting that it's the anniversary of Kobe, and Joel Embiid scored 70 today.
Embiid popped off,
and Cat had a 64 point game.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
Crazy, man. The Mamba, he spread his aura today, especially on the big men in the NBA. So the Kobe anniversary of the 81 is the sports fact of the day.
All right. Well, that sounds good, Matt. Good place to end it there, I think. But yeah, thank you again, everyone, for listening. It was a fun one this week. Got some guests. Hopefully, we can get more guests in the future. But we'll be back next week because after next week, there will only be 2 teams left standing in the NFL. So we'll have, our breakdown of that and probably start to get more into some NBA stuff. So for everyone waiting for our NBA stuff, don't worry, it's coming pretty soon. But yeah, as usual, thank you, everyone. Have a good week, and we'll catch you guys later.